You must be wondering, what is this lovely tree that you see here? It is a Japanese red hawthorn. Unfortunately, being so busy, I didn't get to video it when it was in full flower. It was in blossom about 3-4 weeks ago, and already the flowers have set seed, and these are the hawthorn berries that are forming. This is a Japanese tree because the Japanese train their hawthorns into these lovely twisted shapes. But unfortunately, when trees come from Japan, they are not always very hardy because for two reasons. Before they're shipped out from Japan, they're fumigated with cyanide gas, and sometimes they put very strong chemical in the soil to kill off the nematodes in the soil. So not all the imported trees survive that well because of the treatment they've been given. So what happened to this tree is that the top of this tree completely died. I would like to call this video, what happens when people lose the leader. You know, and even in countries you can lose a leader. In a company, the CEO can disappear and they can lose a leader. So what happens when a bonsai tree loses its leader? So what happened was that the entire tree died from there to there. Looking at this tree, you would think that it is a splendid bonsai. But what I have done, if you come and look closely, the base of the tree was alive. So there is this one shoot grew into a 3-4 foot long branch, and I did what was literally a tanuki round the dead trunk. You see, I've taken that branch up, wrapped it around that tree, and then this branch I've taken up from there and made it into a false branch like that. So when it becomes thick and strong, it will be a classic tanuki, except that I'm not making a tanuki with a juniper, I'm making a tanuki with a hawthorn. I don't even want to do anything more. I will just cut it back a little bit because if I don't do it, it'll get too big and we will lose the shape of this beautiful tree. I can bring it down like this. Let me just put a tiny bit of wire around it and just guide it along the way. No, I will just, there are two branches very conveniently. I will just do the two branches. After all, it's not being shown, it's just to guide the wire in the right direction. So you will often come across situations like this where a tree will have lost the leader and you can grow a new branch and wrap it around the dead trunk to make a new leader. Now this is a hawthorn. I'm going to show you another species that has happened to be exactly the same thing. So look at it, already it's looking like a complete tree. Beautiful, with thick trunk like that. And it will become a complete bonsai. So that's going to be your new leader at the top. Tanuki hawthorn. If ever there was one, I always like to do pioneering things. I noticed that on the YouTube, a lot of people are imitating me and doing simple videos, moving away from the difficult ones, because I've been doing it and been doing it successfully. So maybe they will be copying a tanuki with a deciduous tree. So that's a Peter Chan first. I don't like to be proud. It's just that I like to pioneer and experiment with new things. So this is a tanuki with a hawthorn. Now let me take you to the back of the greenhouse and I will show you another example. I have here a very big, if you take a bird's eye view from there, look at this great big field maple. It's every bit chest high and it almost looks like a complete tree. Look at it. And if I can spin the tree round, this is another instance where this tree was made at Herons when I came here in 1986. So it's 37 years in training, and it is a field maple that we grew successively in the ground and then put in pots. And you can see this beautiful style of field maple, almost in the style or the mold of these big Japanese trident maples that you see growing. So there you are with that beautiful base tapering all the way to the top. But for some reason, this top died last year. As those of you who live in the UK will know, last year we had a very, very hot summer where we had temperatures of nearly 40 degrees. And not only that, that temperature lasted for several months, like 3 months. And that heat did a lot of damage to a lot of trees, including this tree. So the tree suddenly lost the leader. From here to here, the leader was lost. So all this is alive, but the top has died. But what I did was, you will see, I made another fake leader. Because this tree is growing there, I brought this branch. This is a completely new branch that I grew last year. Look at it. That's a completely new branch. I brought it back in there to make it look like the leader. So you wouldn't tell from a distance that that is only a fake leader that I've made to compensate for the leader that is lost. So there you are. You can do these funny things even with deciduous trees. See, all that's dead. So I'm going to create a false taper. And if I wanted to do more, I can get some more thin branches and wrap it around the dead trunk to do a proper tanuki. So there are all sorts of things you can be doing to create a false top. I know that the so-called purists will be saying that I'm mad, but there's always a first to everything. And I would like to think that creating this false leader, or making a new leader, in effect creating a tanuki with deciduous trees, is my way of doing things. So this is still a viable tree. It's grown into the ground because I stand it on the ground, but because it's growing in the ground, the tree is very strong. Not only that, you get these suckers growing. Where I moved the tree was here. Look at all these root cuttings. Look at the root cuttings from there. So, because these roots have gone in the ground, this is almost like a raft. All these will become trees. I don't want to disturb them, but you can see I've got some new trees. I'll make a little forest out of this, and nothing is wasted. I think for most amateurs, they like experimenting with things like I do. Why waste it? But the fun is experimenting with it and enjoying what we do. And this is another example of what you do when you lose a leader. It's not the end of the world, mind you. You can always create a new leader. So there you go. I will trim it some more. In fact, I'm leaving some of these branches to thicken this new leader, to thicken the new leader. But I still got the conical shape. So that's another experiment that you would like to try.